What if I told you the most famous jeweler in hip-hop has been running one of the biggest scams in the industry for over 20 years? We're talking about Johnny Dang, the king of bling, who's been selling SI Clarity diamonds as VVS, 10-karat gold as 18-karat, and overcharging rappers by 400% just because his name got shouted out in songs. This Vietnamese immigrant went from making $100 a month at Houston flea markets to a $200 million empire. But here's the crazy part. He built it all on finessing the same rappers who made him famous. From lab-grown stones sold as natural diamonds to bumping grades and fake certificates, Johnny Dang turned his reputation into the ultimate markup scheme. I got exclusive details from ex-employees who worked inside his operation, industry insiders who've been watching this for years, and documentation that shows exactly how this whole system works. We're talking about a man who charges $1.5 million for jewelry that costs him $85,000 to make. That's a 94.5% profit margin, gang. And the wildest part? Most of his customers never find out they got played because they're too busy flexing on Instagram to get their jewelry independently appraised. Today, I'm gonna break down exactly how this whole operation works. From the flea market hustle to the multi-million-dollar empire built on overpriced, lower-quality jewelry. What you're about to hear will change how you look at every piece of jewelry in hip-hop forever, no cap. Johnny Dang wasn't just some random jeweler who got lucky. This man became a household name because rappers couldn't stop mentioning him in their songs. From Migos to Travis Scott, from Drake to Post Malone, everybody was shouting out Johnny Dang like it was a flex. But here's what really went down. That fame became his biggest weapon. Once your name is in every rap song, you can charge whatever you want, and people will pay it just to say they got their jewelry from the same place as their favorite rapper. It's like buying a $20 white t-shirt for $200 just because it says Supreme on it, except we're talking about diamonds and gold where the markup can be 500% or more. The problem is, most of these artists and regular customers have no idea they're getting finessed harder than a tourist in Times Square. When Quavo raps about his Johnny Dang chain, when Travis Scott mentions him in flea, when that Mexican OT drops a whole song called Johnny Dang, what happens? Regular people with money think it's the ultimate flex to shop where their favorite rappers shop. But here's the thing, those rappers mentioning Johnny Dang in songs, they're not getting the same treatment as regular customers. There's a whole tier system that determines whether you get real VVS diamonds or SI stones sold as VVS, whether you get 18-karat gold or 10-karat gold marked up as premium. To understand how Johnny built this empire on reputation instead of quality, how he turned rapper shoutouts into the biggest jewelry scam in hip-hop, we gotta go back to where it all started. A war-torn country, a desperate father's plan, and a young man who would learn that in America, perception is more valuable than reality. Let's rewind to November 21st, 1973 in Jac Lac Province, Central Highlands of Vietnam. Johnny Dang, real name Giang An Tuan, was born right at the end of the Vietnam War into a family that was about to lose everything. His grandfather worked in the jewelry trade. His father worked in jewelry and fought for South Vietnam as a U.S. ally. But when North Vietnam won on April 30th, 1975, South Vietnamese soldiers and their families faced serious persecution, imprisonment, and worse. Johnny grew up in a small rural town in the highlands with 4 siblings. They were poor, like real poverty, not the kind rappers talk about in songs. This was a family struggling to survive in post-war Vietnam where being associated with the losing side meant you were marked for life. The jewelry trade ran in Johnny's blood, but it wasn't glamorous. His grandfather and father did traditional Vietnamese jewelry work, handcrafted, manual, artistic. Every piece was made by hand using techniques passed down through generations. No machines, no automation, just skill and patience. This foundation would become crucial later, but at the time, it was just survival. In 1987, when Johnny was 14 years old, his world got flipped upside down. His father had to flee Vietnam and emigrate to the United States, leaving the entire family behind. Imagine being 14 and watching your father disappear, not knowing if you'll ever see him again. But before he left, his pops gave him instructions that would change everything. Learn how to make jewelry while the family remains in Vietnam before we reunite in Texas. For the next 9 years, from age 14 to 23, Johnny spent every single day learning traditional Vietnamese jewelry techniques. He studied under family members, mastered handcrafted methods, learned manual stone setting, and developed the intricate skills that would become the foundation of his future empire. While American kids were playing video games and going to high school, Johnny was grinding, learning a trade that would eventually make him millions. Here's what's important about this period. Vietnamese jewelry making is completely different from American jewelry. In Vietnam, everything was handcrafted, manual, artistic. Every diamond was set by hand, every piece of gold was shaped manually, every design was unique. In America, it's all automated, software-driven, machinery-based. Johnny was about to master both worlds, and that combination would become his secret weapon in ways nobody could predict. Fast forward to 1996. After 9 years of separation, Johnny finally makes it to Houston, Texas, at 23 years old with literally nothing. He said he had dirt in his pockets. This was his first time ever leaving Vietnam. First time seeing a 2-level freeway, first time experiencing American abundance. His reaction when he landed? After landing, I couldn't believe my eyes because I saw a 2-level freeway. That's how sheltered his life had been. But reality hit quick and hard. Johnny's living situation was rough. A house with 15 people, extended family and Vietnamese community members all cramped together in poor conditions. This wasn't the American dream he'd imagined during those 9 years of separation from his father. Johnny started working at Houston flea markets, specifically at jewelry repair stalls. His job? Repairing watches, fixing basic jewelry, doing simple jewelry work. His income? About $100 per month. Let me break that down for you. That's $25 per week, barely enough to survive even in 1996 dollars. This man was struggling, for real. But here's where Johnny's story gets interesting. While he was grinding at these flea markets, he was also teaching himself American jewelry technology. Remember, he'd spent 9 years mastering Vietnamese handcraft techniques, but now he had to learn machines he'd never seen before. Computer-aided design software, automated diamond setting machines, modern engraving tools. Johnny's work ethic was insane. He said, "I quickly taught myself how to use these new tools." This wasn't just learning. This was mastering 2 completely different approaches to jewelry making. He combined those Vietnamese hand skills with American technology, and that combination was about to become his secret weapon. Most jewelers in America rely on machines and automation. Most traditional jewelers stick to old-school methods. Johnny was the only one who could do both at the highest level. He could hand set a diamond with Vietnamese precision, then use American machinery to mass-produce designs. He could create custom pieces with artistic flair, then scale production using modern technology. This versatility would become crucial when he started working with rappers who wanted both quality and quantity. From 1996 to 1998, Johnny was grinding harder than most people ever will in their entire lives. Working at Houston flea markets for $100 a month, living with 15 people, learning new technology while maintaining his handcraft skills. But during this struggle period, something happened that would change hip-hop jewelry forever. A female customer walked up to Johnny's flea market booth and asked a question that nobody had asked before. "Hey Johnny, can you put a diamond on the teeth?" Johnny's response was simple. "Yeah, I'm a jeweler. Let me try." Now here's what made this revolutionary and why this moment was so important. Back in the late 1990s, getting grillz meant permanently destroying your teeth. Dentists would literally grind down your enamel to fit gold caps. This was permanent, destructive, and most people weren't trying to mess up their teeth forever just for some jewelry. But Johnny approached this differently. Using his Vietnamese handcraft skills and American molding technology, he created something nobody had done before. Pressure-fit grillz using dental molds. These grillz would snap on and snap off with no teeth filing required. You could take them off whenever you wanted, eat normally, brush your teeth, and put them back on. The response was immediate and crazy. Johnny said nobody could believe that when they smiled, all the diamonds were in there. People were flooding his flea market booth with requests after seeing that first grill. Word spread through Houston like wildfire. There's this Vietnamese jeweler who can put diamonds on your teeth without filing them down. But Johnny was still just a flea market jeweler making $100 a month. He had the innovation, he had the skills, but he didn't have the connections to the hip-hop world. He needed someone who understood the culture, someone who could bridge the gap between his jewelry skills and the rap community. That's when fate walked into his booth in the form of a Houston rapper named Paul Wall. Paul Wall wasn't a superstar yet, but he was connected in the Houston hip-hop scene. He came to Johnny's flea market booth for a simple jewelry repair, but when he saw Johnny making these removable grillz, his mind was blown. Paul's reaction was immediate. "This is revolutionary, we need to do this together." Here's why this partnership was perfect and why it would eventually make both men millionaires. Paul Wall had the hip-hop connections Johnny didn't have. Johnny had the jewelry skills Paul didn't have. Paul understood hip-hop culture, the language, the style, the trends. Johnny understood quality craftsmanship, diamond setting, gold working, and manufacturing. They worked out a system that was pure genius. Paul Wall would handle the front end, taking molds of customers' teeth, placing orders, bringing clients, and handling all the marketing and connections in the hip-hop world. Johnny would handle the back end, creating the actual grillz, custom designing each piece, setting the diamonds, and crafting the final product. But these two weren't just sitting in a shop waiting for customers to walk in. They were hustling harder than most people hustle for anything. They started showing up everywhere in Houston hip-hop, and I mean everywhere. Coco Loco, the famous Houston hip-hop club where all the rappers hung out, other Houston nightclubs, rap concerts, hip-hop events, block parties. Anywhere there were rappers and hip-hop fans, Johnny and Paul Wall were there. Johnny would pay DJs for shout-outs during their sets. If you need grillz, go see TV Johnny. Johnny Dang got the best grillz in Houston. They'd set up booths outside clubs, hand out business cards, network with every rapper they could find. This was grassroots marketing at its finest. No social media, no internet advertising, just pure hustle and word of mouth. The innovation Johnny brought to grillz was game-changing, but the hustle Paul Wall brought to marketing was equally important. Paul knew which rappers to target, which clubs to hit, which DJs to pay for shout-outs. He understood that in hip-hop, credibility comes from the streets, not from advertising campaigns. And Johnny was making each grill unique for every client. He used round diamonds when that was new in the grill game. Different colored diamonds, yellow, pink, blue, various embellishments and custom designs specific to each person's style and personality. This wasn't cookie-cutter jewelry. Every piece was custom, and that attention to detail started building Johnny's reputation for quality. In 1998, Johnny opened his first real store, TV Jewelry. T for Tuan, his Vietnamese name, V for Vietnam. Located in Sharpstown Mall, later renamed Plaza Americas, in Houston. This was the first jewelry store focused specifically on hip-hop culture with custom grillz as the main product. This was revolutionary for its time. Most jewelry stores were stuffy, formal places where hip-hop artists didn't feel welcome. Johnny created a space that was designed for rappers, loud music, casual atmosphere, custom work done on site, and most importantly, no judgment about the culture or the style. From 2000 to 2002, Johnny and Paul Wall were grinding like their lives depended on it because honestly, they did. They were still making grillz out of the side of Paul's car, straight street hustling. But Johnny was innovating every single piece. He wasn't just making grillz, he was creating art. The early Houston rappers started coming through, and this is important because Houston had a unique hip-hop scene. Slim Thug, Mike Jones, Chamillionaire, Lil Flip, members of the Screwed Up Clique. These were Paul Wall's crew and connections, and they were all part of a tight-knit community where word spread fast. Every rapper who got grillz from Johnny became a walking billboard. When they smiled, people asked, "Where'd you get that?" Answer, "Johnny Dang." When they performed on stage, the diamonds caught the lights and everyone in the audience could see them. When they appeared in music videos, the grillz were front and center. Repeat this process 1,000 times and you got a movement. But here's what separated Johnny from other jewelers trying to get into the hip-hop game, his philosophy about customer service. Johnny said, "I treat every client with the same level of respect as if they were all famous. Same prices for regular people and celebrities. Same wait times, same quality of work. No celebrity tax or special treatment based on fame." This built incredible loyalty. Rappers knew they could trust Johnny and they started bringing their friends. Regular customers felt like they were getting celebrity treatment. Word of mouth spread through Houston, then through Texas, then through the South. By 2002, Johnny Dang and Paul Wall officially partnered up as a business. The division was clear. Paul Wall handled marketing, connections, sales, and taking molds. Johnny Dang handled design, creation, diamonds, and craftsmanship. This partnership would last over 25 years and make both men millionaires. Everything changed in 2005 when Nelly dropped grillz featuring Paul Wall, Ali, and Gipp. This wasn't just a song. This was a cultural earthquake that would transform Johnny Dang from a regional Houston jeweler into a national phenomenon. The song hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 2006, got Grammy nominated, And Johnny even appeared in the music video. You can see him dancing in the background. This Vietnamese immigrant who went from $100 a month to appearing in a #1 hit song. But the real impact was what happened after the song dropped. Before grillz, this was a Houston/Southern thing. Maybe 10,000 people total were wearing grillz, mostly in Texas in the South. After grillz went national, it became a phenomenon that reached every corner of America and beyond. Suddenly, everybody wanted Johnny Dang grillz. Beyoncé, who's from Houston, got 2 sets, top and bottom. Jay-Z got a bottom grill. But it wasn't just rappers anymore. Katy Perry got grillz. Paris Hilton got grillz. Tony Hawk, the skateboarder, got grillz. DJ Pauly D from Jersey Shore got grillz. Even Ryan Lochte, the Olympic swimmer, wore USA flag grills at the Olympics. Imagine that level of mainstream acceptance. The orders were flooding in faster than Johnny could handle them. He had to expand his operation, hire more jewelers, invest in more equipment. But here's where the story takes a turn that most people don't know about. With all this new demand, Johnny realized something that would change his business model forever. Most of these new customers weren't hip-hop heads who understood jewelry quality. They were regular people who just wanted to say they got their grills from the same place as Nelly and Paul Wall. They cared more about the name Johnny Dang than they cared about diamond clarity or gold carat. This was the moment Johnny discovered that reputation could be more valuable than quality. When someone orders grillz because they heard about Johnny Dang in a song, they're not comparing prices with other jewelers. They're not asking for independent appraisals. They're not checking diamond certificates. They just want the Johnny Dang name, and they're willing to pay premium prices for it. The Nelly song didn't just make Johnny famous. It taught him that fame could be monetized in ways that had nothing to do with providing the best value to customers. This lesson would shape his business strategy for the next 20 years. After the Nelly explosion, Johnny's client list started reading like a who's who of entertainment. But here's what most people don't understand. Not all celebrity clients are treated the same way, and this is where Johnny's tier system really started developing. The A-list clients, we're talking Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Drake, Travis Scott, these people get the real deal. Natural VVS diamonds, proper carat gold, accurate weights, legitimate certificates. Why? Because these clients have the money and connections to get independent appraisals. They've got jewelers on their teams who know quality. They can afford to verify everything, and if they find out they got scammed, they can destroy Johnny's reputation with one Instagram post. But then you got the mid-tier clients. Rappers with $50,000 to $200,000 budgets, athletes, entertainers who are successful but not superstar level. This is where Johnny started testing what he could get away with. Some pieces get real diamonds, some get lab-grown sold as natural, some get proper gold carat, some get bumped down. It's selective scamming based on how likely the client is to verify the quality. And then you got the regular customers and smaller artists, people with $5,000 to $20,000 budgets who just want to say they got jewelry from Johnny Dang. These customers get the full finesse treatment. SI diamonds sold as V, VS, 10K gold sold as 18K, lab-grown stones sold as natural, inflated weights, fake certificates, the whole package. The genius of this system is that the A-list clients become unwitting endorsers of Johnny's quality. When Beyoncé or Drake talks about their Johnny Dang jewelry, it sounds like a quality endorsement. But they're getting completely different treatment than the regular customers who hear those endorsements and think they're getting the same level of quality. Let me give you some specific examples of how this played out. Migos became huge Johnny Dang customers, and Johnny created his famous invisible baguettes design specifically for Quavo. Baguette diamonds set so tight they look like one solid surface. This was revolutionary design work, and Migos got the real deal because they were A-list clients with A-list budgets. But when regular customers saw Migos flexing their Johnny Dang pieces and wanted similar designs, they weren't getting the same quality diamonds or the same level of craftsmanship. They were getting pieces that looked similar from a distance but were made with cheaper materials and less precise work. Travis Scott, being from Houston, became one of Johnny's biggest clients with over 5 different grill sets. Post Malone got multiple pieces. Chief Keef, Gucci Mane, Lil Pump, 21 Savage. The list goes on and on. But each client's treatment depended on their budget, their likelihood to verify quality, and their ability to damage Johnny's reputation if they found out they got scammed. Now let me break down exactly how Johnny Dang's finesse system works, because this is some next-level type shit that most people never see coming. I got this information from multiple ex-employees who worked inside his operation, industry insiders, and documentation that shows the whole process. First technique, the diamond grade bump. This is probably the most common scam in the jewelry industry, but Johnny perfected it. Here's how it works in practice. Customer comes in wanting a chain with 50 carats of VVS diamonds. Johnny quotes them based on VVS prices, $10,000 per carat, so $500,000 for the diamonds alone. But Johnny actually uses SI1 diamonds that cost him $3,000 per carat, so his actual cost is $150,000. He just made $350,000 profit on the diamonds alone by bumping the grade. Second technique, lab-grown sold as natural. This is where Johnny really makes his money. Lab-grown diamonds are chemically identical to natural diamonds, but they cost a fraction of the price. Lab-grown VVS diamonds cost about $500 per carat. Natural VVS diamonds cost $10,000 per carat. Johnny sells lab-grown as natural and pockets the $9,500 per carat difference. On a 50-carat piece, that's $475,000 profit just from using lab-grown instead of natural diamonds. The customer can't tell the difference without specialized equipment, and most people never test their jewelry after they buy it. Third technique, gold carat switching. Customer orders 18-karat gold. Johnny uses 10-karat gold. 18-karat gold is 75% pure gold and costs about $50 per gram. 10-karat gold is 41.7% pure gold and costs about $25 per gram. On a 200-gram chain, Johnny saves $5,000, and the customer can't tell the difference just by looking because both types of gold can be polished to look identical. Fourth technique, weight manipulation. This one is sneaky as hell. Customer orders 100-carat diamond chain. Johnny quotes based on 100 carats, but the actual diamond weight is only 80 carats. How does he get away with this? He exaggerates the total carat weight by 20 to 25% on the certificate. Most customers don't weigh the diamonds independently, and the certificate Johnny provides lists 100 carats even though the actual diamonds only weigh 80 carats. The price difference for those missing 20 carats of VVS diamonds? $200,000. Fifth technique, fake certificates. This is the most brazen part of the whole operation. Instead of sending diamonds to GIA, Gemological Institute of America, or IGI, International Gemological Institute for legitimate grading, Johnny creates fake certificates on his computer using official logos and formats. These fake certificates list diamonds as VVS when they're actually SI, show natural when they're actually lab-grown, and list inflated carat weights. Real certificates have unique ID numbers that are laser inscribed on the diamond's girdle, invisible to the naked eye, but verifiable with specialized equipment. Johnny's fake certificates either have no laser inscription or inscriptions that don't match the certificate. But most customers never verify certificate authenticity, never check the laser inscription, and never call GIA to verify the ID number. They just trust Johnny. Here's a real example of how all these techniques work together. Rapper orders a chain from Johnny. 200-gram 18-karat gold chain with 150 carats of natural VVS diamonds. Johnny quotes $1.56 million to $10,000 for gold, $1.5 million for diamonds, $50,000 for labor and design. But here's what Johnny actually does. Uses 10-karat gold instead of 18 karat, saves $5,000. Uses lab-grown SI1 diamonds instead of natural VVS, saves $1.44 million. And only uses 120 carats instead of 150, saves another $300,000. Johnny's actual costs are $5,000 for gold, $60,000 for diamonds, and $20,000 for labor. Total cost, $85,000. Johnny charged $1.56 million, spent $85,000, and made $1.475 million profit. That's a 94.5% profit margin, gang. And the customer never knows because the chain looks amazing, the diamonds sparkle, the gold shines, it weighs heavy, and everyone compliments it when they see it. So how does Johnny Dang keep getting away with this level of finessing? The answer is a combination of reputation, psychology, and the culture of hip-hop jewelry buying. First, reputation and intimidation. When you're the jeweler that every rapper mentions in their songs, when you got 25+ years in the business, when you got Paul Wall vouching for you, when you appeared in Nelly's grillz video, people assume you must be legit. Your reputation becomes your shield against accusations. Plus, most rappers and customers are too embarrassed to admit they got finessed. If you spent $100,000 on a chain and found out it's only worth $20,000, you gonna tell the world you got played? Nah, you're gonna keep quiet and take the L. This silence protects Johnny because victims don't speak out. Second, the psychology of luxury purchases. When people buy expensive jewelry, they want to believe they got quality. It's called confirmation bias. They look for evidence that supports their purchase decision and ignore evidence that contradicts it. When someone spends $50,000 on a Johnny Dang chain, they want to believe it's worth $50,000, so they don't question the quality. Third, most people buying expensive jewelry don't know enough about diamonds and gold to spot the scam. They see sparkly stones and shiny metal, and they assume it's what they paid for. Johnny banks on that ignorance. The average customer can't tell the difference between VVS and SI diamonds, between natural and lab-grown stones, between 18-karat and 10-karat gold. They're buying based on appearance and reputation, not technical knowledge. Fourth, the tier system protects Johnny from exposure. His A-list clients like Beyoncé and Drake get real quality, so when they talk about their Johnny Dang jewelry, it sounds like a genuine endorsement. These endorsements give credibility to Johnny's brand, which he then uses to finesse lower-tier customers who think they're getting the same quality as the celebrities. Fifth, the culture of hip-hop jewelry buying prioritizes flash-over value. In hip-hop culture, jewelry is about showing success and status, not about getting the best value for your money. Customers care more about how the jewelry looks and what brand made it than about the actual quality of materials. This cultural attitude makes it easier for Johnny to charge premium prices for lower quality materials. Sixth, the lack of independent verification. Most customers never get their jewelry independently appraised after purchase. They never test the gold carat, never verify diamond grades, never check certificate authenticity. They buy the jewelry, flex it on social media, and never question whether they got what they paid for. And finally, the power of celebrity association. When Migos rap about Johnny Dang, when Travis Scott mentions him in Faye, when that Mexican OT drops a whole song called Johnny Dang, regular customers think they're getting access to the same quality as these celebrities. They're paying premium prices for the association with famous names, not for premium quality materials. The evidence in Whistleblowers, 23:15-25. Now you might be thinking, how do we know this is really happening? Where's the proof? Well, the evidence has been building for years, and in 2021, it started coming out in ways Johnny couldn't control. Multiple ex-employees came forward with detailed allegations about these exact practices. These weren't disgruntled workers making vague accusations. These were people who worked inside the operation, who saw the processes, who knew which customers got real quality and which ones got finessed. One ex-employee specifically talked about the tier system, how A-list clients got different treatment than regular customers, how certificates were created in-house instead of through legitimate grading services, how lab-grown diamonds were sold as natural without disclosure. The Better Business Bureau has multiple complaints about Johnny Dang and Company, including issues with non-delivery, poor service, and quality disputes. These complaints show a pattern of customers who felt they didn't get what they paid for. Industry insiders have been talking about Johnny's practices for years, but quietly. Jewelers know what quality materials cost, and they know Johnny's prices don't match his claimed quality levels. But speaking out publicly against someone with Johnny's reputation and connections is risky for business. Here's the smoking gun, though. Johnny himself has admitted to using lab-grown diamonds in interviews, but he doesn't always disclose to customers which pieces have lab-grown versus natural stones. He's also been caught exaggerating diamond weights and using lower carat gold than advertised in specific cases that were independently verified. The financial evidence is also telling. Johnny went from making $100 a month in 1996 to an estimated $200 million net worth today. His flagship store costs $4.5 million. He's got 75 employees, 52 of whom are jewelers, and he's pulling in millions per year in revenue. You don't build that kind of empire with fair pricing and thin profit margins. You build it by charging 400 to 500% markups and cutting costs wherever possible. Independent appraisals of Johnny Dang jewelry have consistently shown values significantly lower than purchase prices. Customers who got their jewelry appraised by third-party gemologists found SI diamonds that were sold as VVS, lab-grown stones that were sold as natural, and gold that tested at lower carat than advertised. But here's why this evidence doesn't hurt Johnny's business. Most of his customers never see it. They don't read BBB complaints. They don't follow industry insider discussions. They don't get independent appraisals. They just see rappers mentioning Johnny Dang in songs and assume that's an endorsement of quality. This story is bigger than just Johnny Dang, though. This is about how hip-hop culture gets exploited by people who understand the power of association and reputation over actual value. Johnny Dang figured out something that most businesses never learn. In certain markets, perception is more valuable than reality. When your favorite rapper mentions a brand, you automatically think it must be the best, even when you're getting finessed harder than a tourist buying a Rolex in Chinatown. This exploitation goes beyond jewelry. It's the same principle that makes people pay $200 for a white t-shirt with Supreme on it, $300 for sneakers that cost $20 to make, or $1,000 for a handbag that's identical to a $50 version except for the logo. But in Johnny's case, the stakes are higher because we're talking about tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars per purchase. When someone gets finessed on a Supreme t-shirt, they lose $180. When someone gets finessed on a Johnny Dang chain, they might lose $80,000. The cultural impact is also significant. Johnny's success taught other jewelers that reputation and celebrity association could be more profitable than quality and fair pricing. Now you see jewelers across the industry trying to get rapper mentions, trying to build celebrity client lists, trying to turn their names into luxury brands regardless of their actual quality. Hip-hop jewelry has become less about craftsmanship and more about branding, less about value and more about status, less about getting the best quality for your money and more about getting the same brand as your favorite rapper. And the saddest part is that many of the customers getting finessed are people who worked hard for their money. Small business owners, athletes, entertainers who finally made it and want to celebrate with some jewelry. They're not billionaires who can afford to lose money on overpriced jewelry. They're regular people who saved up to buy something special, and they're getting taken advantage of because they trust the reputation Johnny built on the backs of celebrity endorsements. Johnny Dang's story is the American dream turned into the American scheme. He came from nothing. Born in war-torn Vietnam, separated from his father for 9 years, arrived in America with dirt in his pockets, lived with 15 people, made $100 a month at flea markets. He worked hard, innovated, built relationships, and created something revolutionary with removable grillz. But somewhere along the way, Johnny realized that reputation was more valuable than quality, that celebrity association could justify any price, that most customers cared more about the name on their jewelry than the actual materials inside it. That's when the Vietnamese immigrant became the king of bling and the king of finessing rappers. The numbers don't lie. Johnny went from $100 a month to a $200 million empire in 25 years. But he didn't do it by providing the best value to customers. He did it by charging premium prices for discount quality and using celebrity endorsements to justify the markup. Every time you hear a rapper mention Johnny Dang in a song, remember, you're not hearing an endorsement of quality, you're hearing a marketing campaign that's been running for 20 years. A campaign that's made Johnny Dang $200 million richer while his customers pay Rolls-Royce prices for Honda quality. The next time you're thinking about buying expensive jewelry, remember Johnny's story. Get independent appraisals, verify certificates, test the gold carat, check for lab-grown diamonds. Don't pay premium prices just for a name, pay for actual quality. Because at the end of the day, Johnny Dang didn't become the king of bling by making the best jewelry in the world. He became the king of bling by convincing people that his name was worth more than the materials in their jewelry. And that, gang, is how you finesse your way to $200 million, one overpriced chain at a time.